Jeremiah 49, 1 through 22. Devotional focus verse. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. Jeremiah 49:16. We appreciate the fact that public prayer and national days of prayer have a long-standing history in the United States. In 1775, the Continental Congress asked the colonies to pray for wisdom in forming a nation, and since then calling upon God for help has been an integral part of the national heritage. Perhaps one of the most notable calls to prayer was that of President Abraham Lincoln, given at a time when the United States was embroiled in the Civil War. On March 30th, 1863, Lincoln proclaimed a day of national humiliation, fasting, and prayer. His proclamation said that pride was the cause of the terrible struggle the nation was enduring. It said in part, "We have been the recipients of the choicest bounties of heaven. We have been preserved these many years in peace and prosperity. We have grown in numbers, wealth, and power as no other nation has ever grown. But we have forgotten God. We have forgotten the gracious hand which preserved us in peace and multiplied and enriched and strengthened us. And we have vainly imagined in the deceitfulness of our hearts that all these blessings were produced by some superior wisdom and virtue of our own. Intoxicated with unbroken success, we become too self-sufficient to feel the necessity of redeeming and preserving grace, too proud to pray to the God that made us." President Lincoln rightly acknowledged that the sovereign God of the universe is the one who blesses and upholds the nations according to his will. Many nations throughout the ages of time have failed to recognize this important truth and have paid a tragic price for that failure. In today's focus verse, the prophet Jeremiah pronounced that Edom, a nation south of Judah, was destined to be brought down because of the pride of her heart. She would become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse. See verse 13. And her cities would be a wasteland forever. What a terrible recompense for her prideful rebellion against God. Where are the nations of the earth putting their trust today? News reports are laced with references to missile defense plans, strategic allies, and military preparations. However, there is no foolproof method for preserving national security except a humble and complete reliance upon God. As we study the doom pronounced upon the nations surrounding Judah, we should purpose to pray for our nations and our leaders. Let us ask God to help them never become, in the words of President Lincoln, too self-sufficient to feel the necessity of redeeming and preserving grace, too proud to pray to the God that made us. May God help us all learn a lesson from Edom. Background information. Today's text gives the judgments on Ammon and Edom. Verses 1 through 6 address Ammon, whose people descended from Lot and lived to the east of the Jordan River. Throughout their history, the Ammonites took land that belonged to the Hebrews. An example was when the northern kingdom of Israel was taken into captivity and the Ammonites took possession of Gad. See verse 1. The Ammonites trusted in their treasures, including their productive fields, but their God would not be able to deliver them. For their king shall go into captivity, referred to their god Milcom, also called Molech, to which they sacrificed children. The capital, Reba, would be burned and chaos would take place among them. Verses 7 through 22 deal with the people of Edom, who were descendants of Esau and lived south of Judah. Having long held animosity toward the Hebrew people, the Edomites aided the Chaldeans in the siege of Jerusalem and exulted when the city fell. God had the prophet utter strong words of judgment. Teman was a city in the northern part of the country, and his people were famous for having wisdom. Job's counselor, Eliphaz, was from Teman. Dedan, a city on the border of Edom, was recognized for its commerce. Bozrah was Edom's capital. The prophet said the whole of the country would be defenseless, every hiding place discovered, and every person killed or taken into captivity. See verses 9 and 10. It would be like gathering grapes without leaving even one behind. The Edomites had been proud. See verse 16. They had built high in the mountains where they could easily defend themselves, but they would be destroyed as Sodom and Gomorrah had been. At their downfall, the earth would shake and their cry would be heard at the Red Sea. See verse 21. Like a lion or an eagle, Nebuchadnezzar would come upon the Edomites because he was chosen by God to obliterate them. No hope of restoration was given. Conclusion: God controls the destiny of nations, and he will bring judgment upon those nations who fail to acknowledge and honor him.
Chapter 49. Concerning the Ammonites, thus saith the Lord, Hath Israel no sons? Hath he no heir? Why then doth their king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard in Rabbah of the Ammonites, and it shall be a desolate heap, and her daughters shall be burned with fire. Then shall Israel be heir unto them that were his heirs, saith the Lord. Howl, O Heshbon, for Ai is spoiled. Cry, ye daughters of Rabbah, gird you with sackcloth, lament, and run to and fro by the hedges. For their king shall go into captivity, and his priests and his princes together. Wherefore gloriest thou in the valleys, thy flowing valley, O backsliding daughter, that trusted in her treasures, saying, Who shall come unto me? Behold, I will bring a fear upon thee, saith the Lord God of hosts, from all those that be about thee, and ye shall be driven out every man right forth, and none shall gather up him that wandereth. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, saith the Lord. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, Is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape-gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together and come against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart. O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. Also Edom shall be a desolation, Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Bozrah. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs.